This is the purpose effect. Unlock the power to grow wealth, influence others, make an impact, and live a life that matters. Written by L.B.A. Tolkings, published by Summit House Publishers. Dedication to every soul who has ever felt the quiet ache of, there must be more. This book is for you. May you find your fire, follow your path, and never stop becoming. Introduction: The Purpose Effect. Why some people thrive and others survive. There is a kind of success that feels hollow, a kind of ambition that runs fast, but in circles, a kind of busyness that fills your calendar but drains your soul. You've seen it. You've felt it. Perhaps at this very moment, you're living it. In every generation, a small group of people rise above the noise. They are not just productive. They are fulfilled. They are not just wealthy. They are wise. They are not just visible. They are valuable. They live on purpose and with purpose. What is their secret? It is not luck. It is not charisma. It is not even superior intelligence. Their secret is clarity. They have discovered what they were made to do and aligned their time, talents, and resources with that inner conviction. They have, in essence, discovered the power of purpose, and once awakened to it, they live with a force that is nearly unstoppable. This book is about that force. You will not find fluff or vague inspiration here. You will find timeless principles and practical strategies, drawn from the lives of great achievers, distilled from ancient wisdom, and grounded in real-world experience. You will learn how to discover your unique life assignment, rewire your mindset for wealth and effectiveness, build relationships that multiply your impact, take bold, strategic actions toward a meaningful future, transform daily habits into destiny-shaping rituals. You are not a mistake. You are not random. You are not powerless. There is something inside you, call it calling, destiny, or design, that is aching to be unleashed. This book is your map, your manual, your moment. Are you ready to stop drifting and start designing the life you were born to live? Then let us begin. Chapter 1. The Compass Within. Why purpose is the starting point of everything that matters. Picture a ship setting sail at full speed, its sails stretched wide, its engines roaring, and its crew working with skill and energy. But there's one problem. It has no destination, no map, no clear point of arrival. Despite all its effort, that ship is destined to drift in circles, waste its fuel, or run aground. Many lives unfold just like that ship. We move fast, work hard, chase more. But beneath the noise is a quiet ache. Why does this still feel empty? The tragedy isn't in the lack of motion. It's in the absence of direction. Without purpose, life becomes a series of reactions rather than a legacy of intention. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times while trying to invent the light bulb. Most people would have quit, but Edison wasn't fueled by convenience. He was gripped by conviction. He had a vision. He believed in bringing light to the world, and that belief carried him through every dark night of experimentation. That's what purpose does. It becomes your fuel when motivation fades. It lifts you when the applause is gone. It gives you a reason to rise when everything around you says, "Stay down." Purpose multiplies your energy. You stop needing external motivation because you're moved by internal conviction. Purpose turns tasks into passion. It turns pain into power. You can spot someone who's tapped into it. They glow differently. Their eyes carry focus. Their time is guarded. Their decisions are aligned with something deeper than impulse. Without purpose, time is spent. With purpose, time is invested. Without purpose, effort is scattered. With purpose, effort is focused. Without purpose, achievement feels hollow. With purpose, even small progress feels sacred. When you don't know your purpose, every distraction feels like a direction. You try to be everything to everyone. But when your compass is clear, you start filtering your commitments with one powerful question. Does this align with what I'm here to do? Warren Buffett once said that the difference between successful people and truly successful people is that truly successful people say no a lot. That kind of clarity doesn't come from ambition alone. It comes from purpose. A person with purpose is hard to distract. They're not chasing every trend. They're not panicking with every shift. They are anchored. And in a storm-filled world, anchoring is everything. But purpose doesn't just stabilize you, it draws people and resources to you. There's something magnetic about clarity. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't move a nation by handing out step-by-step plans. He said 5 words that echoed across generations. I have a dream. Not a resume, not a pitch, a dream. That clarity lit a fire in millions. Purpose is contagious. When you become clear, you give others permission to become clear too. So, how do you find it? Purpose isn't found by accident. It must be uncovered, like treasure buried beneath distraction and disappointment. Start by scanning your story. Think about the moments that shaped you, especially the ones that hurt, healed, or ignited something in you. Often, your purpose hides in your pain or persistence. What burdens you deeply? What stirs your heart? These are signposts. Your greatest sorrow may point to your greatest calling. The orphan becomes the advocate. The addict becomes the counselor. The broken become bridges for others. Pain, if you let it, can reveal purpose. Next, examine your flow. When do you feel most alive? What are you doing when time flies by? That's your flow zone, not just where you're gifted, but where you're graced. What do people consistently thank you for? When do you feel energized? These are not coincidences. They're breadcrumbs. Then ask yourself, if I never had to worry about money again, and if my work could truly transform lives, what would I wake up every day eager to do? That's the question that changes everything. Purpose isn't just about profit. It's about alignment, where your deepest joy meets the world's most profound need. Try writing a purpose statement, not for a resume, for your direction. It could be as simple as, I exist to help others grow by teaching, encouraging, and leading. Let it evolve over time, but let it guide you. You don't need to have it perfect. Purpose is not a destination, it's a direction. And when you start moving in that direction, clarity builds. Opportunities multiply. Life aligns. Success without purpose is like a beautifully wrapped gift with nothing inside. But even the smallest act carries eternal weight when done with purpose. People who live on purpose don't chase success. They attract significance, because purpose always pays dividends greater than money. You don't need more credentials. You don't need more applause. You don't even need more time. You need clarity. Clarity leads to courage, and courage leads to a life that matters. Over time, your life becomes a masterpiece painted with intentionality. Your choices are no longer random. They are deliberate. Your relationships are no longer accidental. They are strategic. Even your setbacks are no longer shameful. They are useful. You were made for more than just survival. You were made for significance. So before you design your dream life or build your brand, ask this one question. Is the ladder I'm climbing leaning against the right wall? Purpose answers that question. Let this be the moment you adjust your compass. Let this be the chapter that shifts everything. The compass is within you. It's time to use it. Chapter 2. Becoming the person your purpose requires. You've seen them, the people who light up a room, not because of how they look or what they wear, but because they radiate something deeper. Confidence, clarity, conviction. You may not even know their job title, but you know their presence. They are aligned. Their inner world and outer actions agree. And that agreement creates impact. That's what purpose alignment feels like. But here's the truth very few books tell you. Purpose doesn't work unless it passes through the filter of identity. You can uncover your calling, but if you don't believe you're worthy of it, capable of it, or ready for it, you'll sabotage it. You'll shrink back. You'll explain it away as a dream for someone like that, but not for you. In other words, you must become the person your purpose requires. That doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic, and it means recognizing the gap between who you've been and who you're called to become, not as something to fear, but as something to grow into. Think of it like this. A tree doesn't apologize for being a seedling. It just keeps growing. It stretches toward the light. It expands its roots. And one day, the tree that was once hidden inside that seed becomes shelter for others. The seed of your purpose is already inside you, but it can only grow in the soil of belief. Early in his career, a young man named Arnold dreamed of becoming the greatest bodybuilder in the world. But he didn't start with strength. He started with vision. He saw himself on the stage, lifting the trophy, inspiring millions. And every workout, every meal, every decision was filtered through that internal identity. I am a champion. That man, of course, was Arnold Schwarzenegger. But before he became a household name, he became that person internally. The mind always arrives before the feet. So let me ask you, how do you see yourself? When you close your eyes, do you picture someone confident, strategic, and passionate? Or someone hesitant, second-guessing, and small? Your internal portrait determines your external potential. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Most people don't fail for lack of opportunity. They fail because of misaligned identity. Their purpose calls them to rise, but their mindset anchors them to who they used to be. That's why mindset work is not optional. It's foundational. We become what we consistently believe about ourselves. If you want to grow into your purpose, you must edit your inner dialogue. You must replace self-doubt with self-direction. Begin saying things like, I am the kind of person who honors their purpose. I am growing into my calling daily. I don't have to be perfect to make progress. Repetition rewires your identity. Identity reshapes your behavior, and behavior compounds into destiny. There's a story told about an eagle that was raised among chickens. It learned to scratch the dirt, peck the ground, and stay low. One day it saw another eagle soaring above the clouds. Mesmerized, it asked, "What is that?" "That's an eagle," a chicken replied. "But don't worry, you're not one of them." The eagle believed it, and so it lived like a chicken, not because it lacked wings, but because it lacked belief. You can't soar if you think you belong in the dirt. Your environment may have taught you limitations. Your upbringing may have spoken fear. But your identity is not determined by where you started. It's shaped by who you choose to become. Take a moment to define the future you, not just what you'll do, but who you'll be. Write down traits, habits, attitudes. How does the person you're becoming think, talk, lead, love? Then reverse engineer your days to match that identity. Ask, what does this version of me read? How does this version of me spend the first hour of the day? Who does this version of me spend time with? You are not creating a fantasy. You are building a framework. Identity leads behavior. Behavior confirms belief. Belief reinforces identity. It's a cycle, and you can shape it. So here's your charge in this chapter. Stop waiting to feel like the person you're becoming. Start acting like them. Start thinking like them. Start organizing your life as if that future version is already inside you, because they are. Don't chase your purpose from the outside in. Build it from the inside out. Chapter 3, The Power of Vision, Seeing Beyond Where You Stand. Before anything is built in the world, it is first constructed in the mind. Cathedrals begin as sketches. Businesses begin as scribbles. movements begin as quiet moments of imagination. So does your life. Your future doesn't begin on a calendar date. It begins the moment you catch a vision strong enough to reorder your present. Vision is more than just a picture of what you want. It's a preview of what's possible. It's the inner movie that plays behind your eyes even when the current scene looks nothing like it. It's what allows you to walk into a storm and keep moving forward because something greater is pulling you forward. Imagine being in a dense forest with no trail, no sunlight, no sound but your own footsteps. It's disorienting. Every turn looks like the last. The longer you stay there, the more panic begins to whisper, "You're lost. You'll never get out." But now imagine someone hands you a detailed map. Suddenly nothing about the forest has changed, but everything about your response has. You're still surrounded by trees, but you're not afraid anymore. Why? Because you have vision. You know where you're going. That's the power of vision. It transforms chaos into clarity. In 1954, a man named Roger Bannister broke a record that experts believed was humanly impossible. For decades, the world had accepted that no one could run a mile in under 4 minutes. But Bannister didn't just train, he visualized. Over and over, he rehearsed in his mind the exact pace, the sound of the crowd, the finish line in sight. And when he finally ran it, the world didn't just cheer. They changed. Within months, several others broke the same barrier. What changed wasn't human biology. It was belief. And belief was born from vision. When you create a clear mental picture of the life you're building, you don't just motivate yourself, you make the invisible real. Too many people wander through life with purpose in their hearts but no picture in their minds. They know they want to make a difference, but they've never taken the time to define what that looks like. Vague vision leads to vague results. Clear vision attracts clear steps. So how do you craft a vision that carries weight? Start by dreaming without limits. Sit down, remove distractions, and let yourself explore the question, what would my life look like if nothing was holding me back? Think about every area, your work, relationships, health, spiritual life, finances, and contribution. Don't filter, don't edit, just write. Then go deeper. Ask why each part of that vision matters. If you want wealth, is it for freedom, for generosity, for legacy? If you want influence, is it to serve others or to be seen? Vision becomes sustainable when it's rooted in meaning, not ego. Once you've captured your vision, begin translating it into imagery. Create a vision board. Use visuals that make your heart beat faster. Photos, words, symbols. Why? Because the brain is wired for pictures. When you see your vision daily, it shifts from fantasy to focus. There's a reason Olympic athletes use visualization as a key part of their training. They know that the body follows where the mind has already gone. Now, vision doesn't eliminate obstacles, but it gives you a reason to outlast them. When obstacles arise, vision says, "This isn't the end, it's just a chapter." When fatigue sets in, vision whispers, "Keep going, this matters." When doubt screams, vision reminds you this isn't just for you, it's for those who will benefit from your obedience. Your vision must become more real than your excuses. When Walt Disney died, his brother Roy oversaw the opening of Disney World in Florida. A reporter said, "It's such a shame Walt didn't live to see this." Roy replied, "He did see it. That's why you're seeing it now." The world eventually sees what you dare to see first, so take the time to see it, feel it, write it, speak it, stand in it. Let your vision become the blueprint you return to when the world tries to pull you in 1,000 directions. Let it become the quiet voice that steadies your course. Let it be the filter through which every major decision passes. Does this move me closer to the life I saw, or does it take me further away? You may not control every event in life, but you absolutely control what you envision for it. The greatest tragedy is not failure, It's settling for a life that was never yours. But the greatest triumph, that's reserved for those who dared to imagine more, believed it was possible, and lived accordingly. See it first, live it next. Chapter 4. The Bridge, called Discipline, turning dreams into daily decisions. Purpose is your compass. Vision is your destination. But discipline? Discipline is the bridge that gets you there. Without it, purpose remains potential. Vision remains imagination. Discipline is the difference between a wish and a result. It's easy to be inspired in moments, after a sermon, a motivational video, a breakthrough conversation. But the life you long for isn't built in moments of hype. It's built in the quiet, consistent choices you make when no one's watching. Ask any Olympic athlete, best-selling author, or thriving entrepreneur, and they'll tell you, success is not magic. It's rhythm, it's routine, it's rising when you don't feel like it, writing one more page when you'd rather scroll, saving $10 when you could spend $20, saying no to what's urgent so you can say yes to what's essential. Discipline is what converts who you want to be into who you actually become. Picture this. A man stands on one side of a massive canyon. On the other side is the life he dreams of: financial freedom, impactful work, joyful relationships, health, peace, legacy. Between him and that life is a narrow, wobbly rope bridge. It's not flashy. It's not comfortable. It requires focus, balance, and courage. Every step matters. That bridge is discipline. Some people stare at the canyon their whole life, imagining what's on the other side. Some even start across but turn back when the wind blows. But those who reach it, they keep walking, one intentional step at a time. That's discipline. It's not glamorous, but it's glorious. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, put it this way: you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems are built by discipline. Want to become a wealthy person? Start tracking where your money goes. Every dollar. Automate savings. Build investing habits. Want to grow in influence? Create value consistently. Learn your craft. Keep showing up. Want to get fit? Move your body daily. Not someday. Not when it's convenient. Today. Discipline doesn't wait for convenience. It creates consistency. It's how Martin Luther King Jr. kept writing sermons amid death threats. It's how Serena Williams practiced serve after serve, long after the cameras were off. It's how a young pastor named Rick Warren wrote The Purpose-Driven Life, one early morning session at a time, before his church ever exploded in size. Discipline is often the least applauded part of success, but it is always the most essential. But how do you develop it? Let's go deeper than just try harder. First, shrink the action. The brain resists change when it feels overwhelming. Instead of saying, "I'll write a book this year," say, "I'll write 300 words each morning." Instead of saying, "I'll start working out," say, "I'll do 20 minutes before breakfast." Small, repeatable actions become compound momentum. Second, design your environment. Discipline is easier when your surroundings align with your goals. Want to read more? Keep books visible and remove social media apps from your home screen. Want to eat healthier? Prep meals on Sunday and keep junk food out of sight. Make it easier to succeed than to slip. Third, link your discipline to identity. Instead of saying, "I have to exercise," say, "I'm the kind of person who honors their health." Instead of "I need to budget," say, "I'm a steward of my resources." When your habits agree with your identity, they stick. Finally, celebrate progress, not just results. Every time you follow through, you reinforce your future. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you were. That's worth celebrating. Will there be setbacks? Of course. Will you miss a day, lose motivation, face failure? Absolutely. But the disciplined person doesn't aim for perfection. They aim for alignment. When they slip, they recover quickly. When they fall, they learn. When they get tired, they remember why they started. Discipline is not just about grit, it's about grace. Because at the heart of it, discipline is love in action. Love for your purpose, love for your future self, love for the people who will benefit when you fully become who you're meant to be. So don't despise the daily grind. Embrace it. Make peace with repetition. Let consistency become your superpower. Let boring be beautiful. The bridge is before you. Take the next step. Chapter 5. Belief, the engine that drives your becoming. There is a silent engine inside every person. You can't see it on a resume. You won't find it on a balance sheet, but it determines everything. Your effort, your resilience, your relationships, your results. That engine is belief, not mere optimism, not hollow positivity, but deep internal certainty that your life can be meaningful, impactful, and fruitful. Without belief, even the best ideas die in doubt. With belief, even fragile beginnings become powerful breakthroughs. In 1879, a little boy was sent home from school with a note. His mother read it silently, her eyes watering. "Your son is too smart for this school," she said aloud. "We don't have the resources to teach him. Please keep him at home." So she did. She taught him herself. Years later, that boy, Thomas Edison, became one of the greatest inventors in history. Decades after his mother's death, Edison found the note. It didn't say what she told him. It actually said, "Your son is mentally deficient. We won't allow him to return." But belief had done its work. His mother believed, and he came to believe too. Belief bends the world toward possibility. So the question isn't, what do you want to achieve? The deeper question is, what do you believe you can? And even more piercing, what do you believe you're worthy of? So many people stay small not because of a lack of opportunity, but because of internal ceilings. They believe greatness is for others. They believe money is hard to get. They believe success is incompatible with spirituality. They believe failure defines them. But beliefs aren't facts. They're agreements, and you can change the agreements you've made. Think of belief like a thermostat. It sets the emotional and behavioral temperature of your life. If your belief is set low, even when high results show up, you'll sabotage yourself until things feel normal again. But raise the thermostat, and your behaviors eventually rise to meet it. This is why belief isn't just a nice thing to have. It's a necessity. Belief gives birth to behavior, and repeated behavior becomes a lifestyle. But what if you weren't raised in belief? What if all you heard growing up were limitations, fear, and failure? What if the people closest to you only saw your flaws? How do you build belief when you've never seen it modeled? You build it like a muscle, slowly, daily, deliberately. You start with evidence. Look back at times you overcame something hard, times you succeeded when others didn't, times you made a decision that changed everything. These aren't just memories. They're evidence. Write them down. Visit them often. Next, speak belief, out loud, daily. Write affirmations that align with your purpose and identity. Not cheesy slogans, but truths that rewire your subconscious. Say things like, "I am becoming the kind of person who lives with boldness and grace. I attract the resources I need to fulfill my assignment. My past does not limit my future." Words shape worlds, especially the ones you say to yourself. Then surround yourself with belief builders, people who think bigger, who dream wider, who see the good in you and call it out. Environment is a greenhouse for belief. If you plant purpose in toxic soil, it will wither, but plant it in the right community, and it will flourish. Lastly, act in faith. Even when belief is fragile, move anyway. Start the business. Apply for the role. Write the chapter. Make the call. Every step you take is a statement to the universe. I believe this matters. Belief is both the fire that fuels the journey and the compass that keeps you on track. It doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. It means you trust something deeper than fear. It's why Abraham left his homeland, not knowing where he was going. It's why Rosa Parks didn't give up her seat. Belief. It's why you're reading this book, because somewhere inside you, belief is being stirred again. So stir it on purpose. When doubt whispers, answer with truth. When fear screams, anchor to vision. When others don't believe, believe enough for both of you. You are not here to live small, hide, or apologize for your dreams. You are here to become, to build, to shine, to leave a mark that says, I lived on purpose. And it all starts with belief. Chapter 6, The People Principle. How relationships shape your reach. You can have purpose. You can have vision. You can even have discipline and belief. But if the people around you don't align with where you're going, you'll constantly feel like you're driving with the brakes on. Your destiny is too powerful to walk alone and too fragile to walk with just anyone. Every great life is a shared project. While purpose begins as a personal discovery, it flourishes through relational synergy. Who you allow in your inner circle will either water your destiny or wither it. Consider the story of NASA's Apollo missions. Most people remember the astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, but few know the names of the 400,000 engineers, scientists, administrators, and support staff who made the mission possible. Behind the moon landing was a massive web of collaboration, quiet labor, and unseen loyalty. In the same way, your most significant breakthroughs may not come from working harder, but from surrounding yourself with the right crew. That's the people principle. Your relationships either amplify your assignment or anchor you to inertia. Look at your life right now. Who challenges you to grow? Who believes in your dreams, not just your history? Who do you feel lighter around, more aligned, more honest, more alive? And just as importantly, who keeps you stuck in cycles of drama, distraction, or doubt? People are environments. Some cultivate you. Some choke your roots. Think of your life as a garden. Your purpose is the seed. Your habits are the sunlight and water. But the people around you, they are the soil. Even the best seed won't grow in toxic dirt. That's why seasons of accelerated growth often come after relational pruning. It's not always easy. Some people won't understand your journey. Others will mislabel your boundaries as betrayal. But if you are to honor your calling, you must be faithful to your future more than your past. Jesus chose 12. He loved the multitudes, but he mentored the few. Even within the 12, he had 3, Peter, James, and John, those he trusted with his most vulnerable moments. And even among the 3, he had one, John, the disciple who leaned on his chest. Purpose requires proximity, but it also requires protection. Consider the life of David from the scriptures. Before he ever wore a crown, he had a friend named Jonathan who saw the king in him, even when the world still saw a shepherd. He also had mighty men, warriors who believed in his vision and risked their lives to protect it. Without those people, David may never have made it to the throne. He had the anointing, but he needed alignment. You must learn the art of relational discernment. Who should walk beside you? Who should learn from you? And who should be loved from a distance? So how do you build a purpose-aligned circle? Start with clarity. Know what values you want around you. Integrity, growth, generosity, emotional intelligence. Then be ruthless about alignment. Don't entertain perpetual gossip, passive aggression, or bitterness in your circle. These are not quirks. They are toxins. Start by auditing your inner circle. Who energizes you? Who drains you? Who challenges your thinking, calls you higher, and celebrates your growth? Who belittles your dreams, questions your intentions, or keeps you tied to your past? You don't have to cut everyone off, But you do have to assign the right roles. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your purpose. Some people are balcony encouragers. They cheer from afar. Others are backstage contributors. They see the mess and help you prepare. And a few are core cast members. They walk the journey beside you. Misplacing people creates unnecessary pain. Next, make relational deposits. Don't just look for people who can help you. Be someone others want to grow with. Celebrate wins. Speak truth in love. Show up in moments that matter. The people who build your future are often the ones you invest in when no one is watching. Become the kind of person you want to attract. Want faithful friends? Be consistent. Want generous collaborators? Be generous. Relationships are mirrors. We often draw what we display. Then, invest in community. Join mastermind groups, attend events, volunteer in spaces that align with your values. Purpose-driven people are not unicorns. You just have to go where they gather. Also, seek out mentors. You don't need hundreds. Just one voice ahead of you can shift your trajectory. Be teachable. Ask good questions. Apply what you learn. And as you grow, reach back. Mentor someone else. What you give multiplies. A mentor is not the same as a peer. A critic is not the same as a coach. An assignment is not the same as an ally. If you want to build something lasting, you'll need people who can carry the weight of your becoming. People who can hold your dreams without crushing them. People who can challenge you without condemning you. People who know when to correct, when to comfort, and when to just be present. Because sometimes the most powerful thing someone can do is look you in the eye and say, "Keep going. I believe in you." Purpose may begin in solitude, but it comes alive in relationship. So choose your circle, guard your gate, and walk with those who walk with God, growth, and greatness. You were never meant to walk alone. You are called to walk with those who sharpen you, stretch you, and speak to the greatness inside you, even when you've forgotten it's there. And finally, bless the exits. Not everyone is meant to stay. Some leave through conflict, others through silence. But every goodbye is an invitation to deeper trust in God's orchestration. Relationships are seasonal. Just because someone walked with you in one chapter doesn't mean they belong in the next. It's not betrayal to grow in a new direction. It's stewardship. Don't grip expired relationships out of fear. Your future requires space. So find your tribe, love deeply, release wisely, and keep building together. Choose wisely. Chapter 7. From Consumption to Contribution. Becoming a person of value. Most people live their entire lives with a quiet hunger they don't fully understand. They consume ideas, entertainment, opportunities, even relationships, hoping that something will finally make them feel full. But fullness doesn't come from what you consume. It comes from what you contribute. There's a limit to how much joy a person can find in receiving. After a while, the possessions lose their thrill. The applause fades. Even the bank account becomes another number on a screen. But there is no limit to the joy of giving your gifts, time, energy, and experience to something that outlives you. This is the pivot point in purpose, the shift from what can I get to what can I give. It's the moment you realize your life isn't just about your success. It's about your significance, and significance only comes through service. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." That distinction is critical. Success often chases applause. Value chases impact. Think of the most powerful people in history, not in terms of wealth, but in terms of influence. People like Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., and Florence Nightingale. What do they have in common? They contributed something that made life better for others, and in doing so, they stepped into the highest level of purpose. Purpose that stops with personal gain is incomplete. true purpose overflows. There's an ancient river in the Middle East called the Dead Sea. Water flows into it, but none flows out. The result? It's stagnant. Nothing grows there. No life, just salt, silence, and stillness. Contrast that with the Sea of Galilee, full of fish, vibrant and alive. Why? Because it receives water and gives it. There is flow. There is exchange. There is life. So it is with us. If you take in wisdom, opportunity, resources, and experience, but never pass it on, something begins to decay inside. You may have success, but you won't have satisfaction. Contribution is the soul's oxygen. Ask yourself, what am I doing that benefits someone beyond myself? What am I creating that adds value to others? Who is becoming better because I'm alive? If you don't have answers yet, don't panic, but do get intentional. Start with what's in your hand. Are you good at writing? Begin sharing insights online. Are you great at hospitality? Open your home. Do people come to you for advice? Turn that into mentoring. Every strength becomes significance when it meets someone else's need. Don't wait for a stage. Create one. You don't need permission to be helpful. Contribution isn't always grand. Sometimes it's simple. A phone call that lifts someone's mood. A video that gives clarity. A service that solves a problem. A conversation that unlocks potential. These ripples multiply far beyond what you can track. And, ironically, the more you contribute, the more you grow. Contribution sharpens your skills, expands your influence, deepens your empathy, and yes, it eventually increases your income. Because in a world that's desperate for solutions, people of value are always in demand. Think of contribution as compound interest. Every act of service may seem small, but over time, it accumulates. You begin to gain a reputation. People trust you. They seek your insight. And doors open, often without you knocking. But make no mistake, contribution is not about performance or perfection. It's about alignment. When what you do flows from who you are, that's contribution at its highest form. It's not about being impressive. It's about being impactful. It's not about going viral. It's about going valuable. It's not about giving what's easy. It's about sharing what's essential. So flip the switch. Stop asking, what's in it for me? Start asking, what's in me for others? Stop consuming inspiration like candy. Start contributing wisdom like seed. You are not an accidental accumulation of talents. You are a uniquely crafted answer to a question someone is asking. Your words matter. Your presence matters. Your work matters. And when you live that way, eyes outward, heart open, gifts activated, you won't have to chase fulfillment. It will find you. Because the greatest wealth is not just in having much. It's in giving much and knowing it mattered. Chapter 8, The Identity Equation. You will always live up to your labels. You cannot outrun your identity. You can change cities, change careers, change your schedule, habits, or relationships. But if the core of how you see yourself stays the same, your results will eventually return to match it. Your identity sets the ceiling for your growth and the floor for your failure. This is why some people sabotage success the moment it arrives. Deep down, they don't believe they're worthy of it. They don't see themselves as successful, so they unconsciously find ways to shrink back into a smaller story. And others, even after setbacks or rejection, keep rising. Why? Because beneath the surface, their identity tells them they were born for more. It's not talent that creates lasting transformation, it's identity. You will never consistently act in a way that contradicts how you fundamentally see yourself. This is why the most important belief you will ever build is not about your work, your goals, or even your purpose. It's about you. Who do you say you are? That question echoes from Eden to eternity. It is the foundation of your future, because your mind builds evidence for the identity you carry. If you believe you're a leader, you'll look for leadership opportunities. If you believe you're a victim, you'll notice only injustice. If you see yourself as creative, you'll take risks. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll settle for crumbs. Identity is not a mirror, it's a magnet. And what you magnetize, you eventually manifest. Let's take a practical example. Two people are trying to quit smoking. One is offered a cigarette and says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Same action, but a completely different identity. The first person still sees themselves as a smoker trying to change. The second person sees themselves as someone who has already changed. That one sentence frames the future, because behavior that flows from identity becomes effortless. It becomes natural. You don't have to force what you believe is already true about yourself. The same goes for purpose. If you don't see yourself as someone who matters, someone with a message, someone with value, you'll hesitate to take the steps you're perfectly capable of taking. But if you see yourself as chosen, capable, and called, you'll begin moving boldly in alignment with that truth. This is why scripture and psychology both emphasize the power of words. What you say about yourself becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes how you behave. And how you behave becomes who you become. So if you want to walk in purpose, you must first speak in purpose. Start rewriting your internal script. Replace "I'm just trying to figure it out" with "I am on a journey of intentional growth." Replace "I've never been good at money" with "I am becoming wise and wealthy." Replace "I always mess things up" with "I learn, adapt, and get better every day." These are not lies. They are declarations, because truth isn't always what's visible. It's what's possible. And the more you affirm your possibility, the more your brain creates it. Let's go deeper. What labels have you worn that no longer serve your future? Maybe someone called you lazy, emotional, awkward, too much, or not enough. You may have internalized a mistake and turned it into a definition. Maybe a failure in your past has become a false ceiling in your future. Whatever it is, it's time to strip it off. You were not born to carry counterfeit names. Your Creator gave you original ones. Beloved, worthy, capable, chosen, gifted, necessary. Those names are the true core of your identity. Everything else is noise. From this day forward, you must learn to act from that place, not toward it. You are not working for worth. You are working from it. You are not proving value. You are expressing it. This inner shift is the foundation of outer success, because once identity changes, behavior naturally follows. You begin setting better boundaries, dreaming bigger dreams, taking wiser risks, attracting healthier people, living with integrity. It's not a performance. It's a reflection. Your outer life becomes a mirror of your inner belief. So stop trying to improve the fruit while ignoring the root. Your destiny is not just a matter of strategy. It's a matter of identity. Change who you believe you are, and everything else will follow. You don't need to fake it. You need to faith it. Because the future belongs to those who become the truest version of themselves. On Purpose, Chapter 9. Motion creates meaning. Why purpose demands progress. You've dreamed, you've visualized, you've journaled, you've envisioned the life you want. But at some point, purpose must move from paper to pavement, from ideas to impact, from intentions to action. Because nothing changes until you do something. Many people believe they have a purpose problem. In truth, what they have is an action avoidance problem. They're waiting for the fog to lift before they move. They're waiting for a lightning bolt of clarity, for the perfect conditions, for permission, for signs and wonders. But clarity doesn't precede movement. It follows it. Motion is the great revealer. Start doing, and the path becomes clearer. You meet people, you learn lessons, you course correct, you see what works, you realize what doesn't. Slowly, your purpose gets sharper. not from standing still, but from taking steps. Imagine a bicycle. It doesn't balance well unless it's in motion. The same is true of your life. Stagnation invites confusion. Movement invites momentum. Don't overthink the mountain. Just take the next step. One of the greatest stories of purposeful action is that of Florence Nightingale. As a young woman in 19th century England, she felt an inner call to serve the sick. At the time, nursing was considered lowly, even inappropriate for women of her class. But the more she moved, serving in hospitals, organizing sanitation, leading medical reforms, the clearer her purpose became. She didn't wait for a throne. She found her purpose in the trenches. Action breeds clarity. Inaction breeds doubt. Here's the trap. People often confuse activity with productivity. They stay busy, checking emails, organizing plans, reading books, but never commit to the hard, focused actions that produce fruit. Purposeful action is different. It's not about being frantic. It's about being faithful. You identify the steps that align with your calling, and then you do them, even when they're uncomfortable. You'll never build wealth, health, influence, or impact without friction. Growth costs something, but what it gives back is priceless. Start with what I call the 3 C's of purposeful progress. 1. Courage. You will never feel fully ready. Move anyway. Call the client. Post the idea. Apply for the opportunity. Start the business. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing forward motion despite fear. 2nd, consistency. One-time efforts rarely move the needle, but tiny, consistent actions, compounded over weeks, months, years, create seismic shifts. 1 conversation, 1 routine, 1 email, 1 act of faith. Keep showing up. 3rd, calibration. As you act, adjust. What worked? What didn't? How can you do it better? Purpose isn't rigid. It evolves, but it only evolves through engagement. Let's get practical. Write down 1 purposeful goal you've been sitting on. Maybe it's launching a podcast, writing a book, starting an organization, rebuilding your finances. Now break it into micro actions. What can you do today to move the needle? If your goal is to write a book, don't worry about 50,000 words. Write 500. If your goal is to change careers, don't wait for a miracle job. Update your resume and reach out to someone in the field. If your goal is to deepen your faith, don't wait for a retreat. Read 1 chapter of scripture and pray for 5 minutes. Now, purpose grows in bite-sized motion. This is the lesson the ant teaches us in Proverbs. It doesn't wait for the wind to be right or for external motivation. It simply gathers, step by step, season by season, and eventually it's built something meaningful. So must you. Purpose is not a destination. It's a direction, walked daily with discipline. And the most magnetic people in the world aren't the ones who talk about their goals. They're the ones who take imperfect steps, get back up, and keep moving. When you move, doors open, not all at once, but one at a time. Movement attracts mentors, partners, resources, and insight. Life responds to the one who moves with intention. So get up, move, make the call, write the proposal, post the video, record the podcast, pitch the idea, teach the class, build the thing. Because momentum is not found, it's built. And as you build it, meaning will chase you. Fulfillment will find you. Doors will unlock. The fog will lift. Purpose does not reward the perfect. It rewards the active. Chapter 10. Disciplined for Destiny. The quiet power behind lasting purpose. Everyone loves the word purpose. It sounds grand, inspiring, transcendent. But purpose, when stripped of poetic language, is simply a direction, a north star. And that star, no matter how bright, cannot carry you unless your legs are willing to walk toward it. That walking, daily, deliberate, and often unseen, is called discipline. Discipline is what bridges dreams and destiny. It is the mortar between the bricks of purpose. Without it, even the most passionate vision will collapse. Purpose may ignite the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Think of any athlete who stood on the Olympic podium. What we celebrate in the arena was carved in the silence of early mornings, grueling practices, and countless repetitions when no one was watching. Think of any great entrepreneur, preacher, or artist. Behind every visible success is invisible consistency. Discipline isn't sexy, it's not Instagrammable, but it's undefeated, yet so many resist it. Why? Because it demands discomfort. It requires saying no to what feels good now, in favor of what matters most later. It forces us to confront our laziness, our excuses, and our addictions to ease. And yet, paradoxically, it's discipline, not desire, that brings the deepest joy. There's a strange freedom that only the disciplined ever taste. The freedom to look in the mirror and respect who's looking back. The freedom to build wealth instead of just earning income. The freedom to show up with integrity, knowing your habits match your hopes. Discipline is not punishment, it's design. It's structure for success, a scaffolding for greatness. And if you genuinely believe your purpose is worth living, then it's worth organizing your life around it. Let's go deeper. Discipline starts with decisions, not emotional highs, not momentary motivation, but intentional decisions to live by design, not default. It's deciding once and letting that decision make 1,000 smaller ones for you. You decide, I am someone who exercises. I am someone who reads daily. I am someone who saves and invests. I am someone who honors my word. I am someone who works not when I feel like it, but because I've committed to it. From there, you build routines, systems that carry you when willpower wears thin. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your purpose is to build generational wealth, then budget weekly. Automate savings. Study money like a language. Make wealth building a daily act, not a distant wish. If your purpose is to impact lives through teaching or mentoring, then schedule writing. Prioritize preparation. Eliminate distractions. Make your workspace a sanctuary of focus. If your purpose is to grow in faith and spiritual depth, then anchor your days in prayer. Read scripture before social media. Fast when needed. Worship like it's oxygen. Discipline your spirit, not just your schedule. Because purpose without discipline is like a powerful engine without a steering wheel. It might move, but without control, it crashes. But when discipline and purpose walk hand in hand, they become unstoppable. Let's look at Jesus, the embodiment of divine purpose. Even he embraced discipline. He rose early to pray. He fasted. He retreated for solitude. He resisted temptation. He stayed on mission, even when misunderstood. His destiny was glorious, but his journey was grounded in discipline. So why do we think we can walk in purpose without it? Discipline is not about rigid legalism or guilt-driven performance. It's about honoring the call on your life, enough to train for it. Paul said it best. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:25-27. Strict training, controlled energy, clear purpose. That's how legacy is built. And here's the twist. The more you walk in discipline, the easier it becomes. Like muscles strengthened over time, your capacity grows. You start craving growth. You start protecting your peace. You start choosing what serves your future, not just your feelings. The old you chased comfort. The new you chases calling. So today, make the shift. Don't wait to feel like it. Design your days. Build your systems. Guard your time like treasure. Because destiny doesn't respond to hype. It responds to habits. And if you're willing to do in private what others aren't, you'll live in public like few ever will. Chapter 11. Your Circle, Your Ceiling. How relationships multiply or mute your purpose. If purpose is a seed, then relationships are the soil. And the kind of soil you're planted in will either nourish your growth or choke it. You can have a crystal clear sense of calling, a brilliant idea, and a rock-solid plan. But if your circle is toxic, indifferent, or simply misaligned, your purpose will struggle to take root. Nothing affects your trajectory more quietly and more powerfully than the people you allow closest to you. That's because people either pull you forward or hold you hostage. This is not about superiority or snobbery. It's about stewardship. Your purpose is sacred, and sacred things must be protected. Think of any breakthrough in your life, personal, professional, spiritual. Somewhere along the way, there was a person who opened a door, challenged your mindset, affirmed your worth, or modeled a new possibility. The right person at the right time has the power to ignite your next level. Likewise, think of the seasons where you felt stuck, confused, or even self-sabotaging. Often, if you trace it back, you'll find enabling voices, discouraging influences, or the dead weight of relationships that no longer aligned with where you were going. Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That's more than a motivational quote. It's a neurological fact. Your brain mirrors the behaviors, values, and emotional tone of the people around you. Proximity creates permission. If your circle celebrates mediocrity, excellence will feel like betrayal. If your circle fears risk, boldness will feel like rebellion. If your circle lives small, thinking big will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort isn't a sign to shrink, it's a signal to shift. But shifting your circle doesn't mean abandoning people. It means aligning with purpose. It means curating your relationships like you would your diet. What you consume relationally affects your energy, your focus, and your future. Let's break this down practically. Your relationships fall into 3 categories. 1. Mentors, above you. These are people who stretch your vision, sharpen your mind, and challenge your excuses. They may not be close friends, but their voices shape your decisions. Find them, pursue them, learn from them, honor them. 2. Peers, beside you. These are your fellow travelers, those on a similar journey with shared values and mutual growth. They cheer you on, hold you accountable, and walk through the fire with you. Cultivate these relationships. Iron sharpens iron. 3. Mentees, behind you. These are those you are pouring into, not because you've arrived, but because you're willing to lift others as you climb. Purpose always multiplies through service. A healthy, purpose-driven life has all 3. Too many mentors and no peers, and you feel like a student without a tribe. Too many peers and no mentors, and you may drift in comparison. Too many mentees and no replenishment, and you burn out. But when all 3 are present, you become a conduit, receiving wisdom, walking in strength, and releasing impact. It's not just about who's around you, it's also about what they awaken in you. Some people awaken your fear, some awaken your fire. Know the difference. Think of David. Before he was king, he had Jonathan, a friend who affirmed his destiny when everyone else saw just a shepherd boy. He had Saul, a leader whose insecurity almost destroyed him. He had mighty men, followers who rallied around his purpose. And he had enemies, whose pressure made him stronger. Each relationship shaped him. The same is true for you. God uses people to develop your character, test your loyalty, challenge your ego, and advance your mission. But it's your responsibility to choose who gets backstage access to your becoming. That may mean setting boundaries. It may mean loving some people from a distance. It may mean leaving old circles, not because you're better, but because you're called. Here's the truth. You can't take everyone with you. Some are part of your history, not your destiny. Let that settle in grace, not guilt. The higher the calling, the tighter the circle. Eagles don't fly in flocks. So take inventory. Who in your life multiplies your vision? Who subtracts from your energy? Who adds wisdom? Who divides your attention? Curate your company like your purpose depends on it, because it does. The right relationships don't just support your purpose, they accelerate it. They speak life when you doubt. They celebrate you without competition. They pray with you, plan with you, and propel you forward. Choose wisely, because the people around you are either pushing you toward destiny or pulling you toward distraction. Chapter 12, Purpose Through Pain. Turning setbacks into a setup for destiny. Every great purpose story has a chapter most people try to skip, the one called pain. It's not glamorous, it doesn't get quoted on vision boards, but it's where some of the most profound formation takes place. Because while passion may start the fire, pain is what purifies it. If you study the biographies of world changers, business pioneers, movement builders, faith leaders, or creatives, you'll find something strange in common. At some point, they all faced deep loss, public failure, betrayal, or hardship that could have destroyed them. But instead of quitting, they leaned in. They let the pain teach them, train them, and ultimately transform them. The pain became part of their purpose. Take Oprah Winfrey. She experienced abuse, rejection, and career setbacks before becoming a media icon. Or Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, but came out with a vision clearer and stronger than ever. Not to retaliate, but to reconcile. Their stories remind us, your pain may delay you, but it doesn't have to define you. Pain is a strange tutor. It's not what we ask for, but it's often what we need. Pain clarifies your values. It reveals what matters most. When you lose a loved one, you begin to value time and presence in a way you didn't before. When you lose a job, you realize your identity is bigger than a paycheck. When a dream shatters, you're invited to dream deeper, not just bigger, but only if you respond the right way. Many people mismanage pain. They suppress it, deny it, or numb it. But what you refuse to process will eventually poison your progress. Healing is not weakness, it's wisdom. Pain must be felt, not just fixed. Grieve it, journal it, pray through it. Don't rush the process. There's revelation in the wrestle. Think of Joseph in the Bible, sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. His dreams didn't die, but they were delayed by over a decade. Yet those painful years didn't waste him. They welded him. When he finally stepped into leadership, he had the maturity to say, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." That's not just theology. That's transformation. Here's what pain teaches you. Perspective. It helps you zoom out. You stop sweating small things. You realize how fragile and precious life is. Patience. You learn to wait without losing heart. Delay doesn't mean denial. It means development. Power. You discover an inner strength you didn't know existed. You become resilient, flexible, focused. Now here's the surprising part. Some of the most significant innovations, movements, and messages have been birthed not from comfort, but from crisis. Purpose isn't only found in your victories. It's often hidden in your valleys. Your breakdown can become someone else's breakthrough. Your survival story becomes a survival guide. What you've conquered gives you credibility. It creates empathy. It breeds solutions. But only if you let the pain do its full work. Don't shortcut the story. Don't rush back to normal. Let your scars speak. Let your wounds become wisdom. Purpose doesn't avoid pain. It transcends it. This is not romanticizing suffering. No one enjoys heartbreak or failure. But we serve a God who wastes nothing. The darkest chapters can become the most powerful testimonies if you yield them. So what do you do when pain hits? 1. Don't isolate. Reach out. Pain grows in silence. Call a friend. Talk to a mentor. Join the circle. Healing often happens in community. 2. Don't lose your voice. Write. Journal your way through. Give language to the loss. Your words will one day serve others. 3. Don't stop moving. Do what you can, even if your steps are small, even if they're tear-stained. Progress in pain is still progress. 4. Reframe the narrative. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can this teach me?" That shift turns you from victim to vessel. One day, this pain will become part of your purpose story. One day, you'll look back and see how it prepared you, softened you, sharpened you, stretched you for the very stage you're now standing on. And when that day comes, you'll be grateful, not for the pain itself, but for the purpose it pulled out of you. So if you're in a dark season right now, don't despair. Your purpose is not postponed. It's being polished, and the same fire that tried to consume you will become the light you carry to illuminate the path for others. Chapter 13. See it before you step. The power of a compelling vision. Before anything great is built, it is first seen, not with eyes, but with belief, with imagination, with clarity of purpose. This is the secret of vision. It allows you to experience tomorrow before it happens. Vision pulls the invisible into the visible. It gives shape to the fog and turns vague intentions into vivid outcomes. The truth is, everyone is living out a vision, whether by default or by design. Some live out a vision inherited from fear. Don't dream too big. Play it safe. Others follow a vision shaped by comparison. If I can just be like them, I'll be okay. But the most powerful lives? They are forged by purpose-driven vision, one that is personal, profound, and unapologetically yours. Think of vision like the blueprint of a house. Without it, builders guess. Rooms are misaligned. Materials are wasted. But with it, every nail, beam, and brushstroke has meaning. Purpose provides the direction, but vision provides the design. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." That's not poetic exaggeration. It's a warning. Without a clear vision, we settle. We wander. We mimic others and call it progress. But vision isn't fantasy. It's focus. It brings order to your time, clarity to your choices, and fuel to your faith. You begin to live with intention, not just motion. Let's make this real. Imagine a woman named Maya. She's a single mom working 2 jobs. Life feels like a treadmill, lots of effort, little progress. But one day she takes a Saturday to think deeply. She asks, "What kind of life do I want for me and my daughter 10 years from now?" She closes her eyes. She sees a home she owns, a business she runs, a community she mentors. She sees her daughter confident and joyful. She writes it down. That vision becomes her anchor. Every choice starts to change. She starts saving $100 a month. Not much, but a beginning. She takes night classes online. She builds a support network. She turns off the TV and starts listening to podcasts on business and faith. Her vision turns sacrifice into strategy. Fast forward 10 years. The picture she saw is now the life she lives, not because of magic, but because of vision. Vision changes everything. It's what kept Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marching in the face of hate. It's what kept Walt Disney building after bankruptcy. It's what kept Mother Teresa serving the dying when the world ignored them. They saw something others didn't and refused to let go. Here's the secret. What you consistently see, you eventually seek. So how do you craft a vision that drives your purpose? 1. Get still and ask the big questions. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? What impact do you want to make? Who do you want to become? Don't rush this. Let it brew. 2. Write the vision down. Make it clear. Don't just describe what you want. Describe how it will feel. Where are you living? Who are you helping? What kind of health, wealth, relationships, and faith do you walk in? 3. Reverse engineer the vision. Once you see the destination, break it into milestones. What would need to happen in the next 3 years, 12 months, this quarter, this week? 4. Revisit it often. Post it on your wall. Record it as a voice memo. Pray over it. Reignite it. The more you meditate on it, the more real it becomes. A powerful vision doesn't just inform your purpose, it intensifies it. Because when your why is big enough, your how starts to appear. You start noticing opportunities. You attract the right relationships. You develop resilience. People call it coincidence, but it's clarity. Vision magnetizes motion. You'll still face resistance. Disappointments will still visit, but with vision, they don't stop you. They shape you. They become part of the story. So dream again. Dust off the blueprint. Draw without apology. Let your imagination be baptized in faith. Because the future belongs to those who see it before they step into it. Your purpose needs a picture, and when you paint it clearly, your life will start moving in that direction, one bold, intentional step at a time. Chapter 14. Habits of Destiny. Designing daily routines that carry eternal weight. Big dreams die in the graveyards of small disobedience. It's not that people don't care about purpose. It's that they don't know how to live it in the ordinary. They wait for the right season, the perfect opportunity, the big break. Meanwhile, destiny is whispering, "I'm hidden in your daily decisions." This is the secret behind every person you admire. They've mastered the mundane. They've turned purpose into practice. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, reminds us that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You can have clarity, talent, and motivation, but if your systems, your habits, don't support your purpose, you'll keep spinning your wheels in frustration. The future is shaped not in leaps, but in layers, not in inspiration, but in implementation. That's why habits are holy. Think of habits like rivers. Whatever direction they flow in, they carve valleys, shape landscapes, and eventually reach an ocean. Your repeated actions are carving out the kind of life you will ultimately live. The difference between a mediocre life and a meaningful one isn't usually dramatic. It's found in small, consistent choices made when no one's watching. Let's make this real. Imagine two men, David and Darren. They both want to write a book, start a business, and grow spiritually. David waits for motivation. He sets vague goals. He blames his schedule. 5 years later, he's still planning. Darren, on the other hand, decides to write for 30 minutes every morning before work. He wakes up 45 minutes earlier to pray and journal. He puts a weekly reminder on his phone to network with one new person in his field. He reads one book a month, nothing dramatic. But 5 years later, he's authored 2 books, launched a coaching platform, and is mentoring others. What made the difference? Habits. Darren didn't just dream it, he designed it. If you want your purpose to last, you must build it into the rhythm of your life. And that means creating systems that support your soul. Here's how to start designing destiny-driving habits. 1. Align your habits with your identity. Don't just ask, "What do I want to do?" Ask, "Who do I want to become?" If your purpose is to be a healer, start habits that reflect that identity. Practices of empathy, study, stillness, and service. Habits that don't match identity eventually die. 2. Stack your habits to existing routines. If you already drink coffee every morning, add 5 minutes of vision journaling while you sip. If you drive 30 minutes daily, listen to books or messages related to your purpose. Don't fight for time, find it. 3. track progress, not perfection. A habit doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be present. Keep a simple tracker. Celebrate small wins. Momentum is a better motivator than shame. 4. Build rituals, not just tasks. Rituals are infused with meaning. A morning ritual of prayer, movement, and reading prepares your spirit and mind for the day. A Sunday night planning ritual sets your week with intention. Rituals make the routine sacred. 5. Guard your inputs. What you allow in through media, conversations, and environments becomes part of your internal wiring. Curate what feeds you. Build fasting habits from negativity, gossip, or comparison. Now here's the beauty of habits. They compound. At first, the results seem invisible, but over time, tiny acts build trust with yourself. They reinforce identity. They create confidence. Eventually, the gap between who you are and who you are becoming begins to close. Your destiny isn't waiting in the distant future. It's embedded in your daily patterns. Even Jesus had habits. He withdrew to pray, honored the Sabbath, taught consistently, walked with a few trusted disciples. The most anointed life ever lived was also the most disciplined. So build the system that supports your soul. Schedule solitude. Prioritize health. Automate generosity. Plan for excellence. Make room for renewal. Don't just hope for the life you want, habit it. Because in the end, your purpose won't be fulfilled by bursts of inspiration. It will be carried by the quiet rhythm of your obedience. Destiny is not a door you knock on once. It's a hallway you walk, step by faithful step, until the opening appears. Chapter 15. Resilience and Reinvention. How to adapt your purpose. When life changes your plans, life rarely asks for your permission to change. It just changes. One phone call, one diagnosis, one unexpected twist, and suddenly the path you were so sure about becomes a foggy detour. And in that moment, your purpose faces its most significant test. Will it adapt or collapse? You see, the myth of purpose is that it's a rigid destination, a single golden road. But the truth? Purpose is more like a river. It has direction, yes, but it bends, it flows. It overcomes obstacles not by resistance, but by rerouting. The key is not just passion, it's resilience. Let's consider the story of Howard Schultz. His vision was to bring Italian cafe culture to America, but early on, no one believed people would pay $4 for coffee. Investors laughed, customers ignored him, but instead of quitting, he adapted. He refined the model. He educated the market. He pivoted with every roadblock, and Starbucks was born. Purpose doesn't exempt you from difficulty. It equips you for it. You might have started life as a teacher, only to feel a pull toward counseling after walking through your trauma. Maybe your business collapsed during a crisis, but now you're building a nonprofit with even deeper impact. Or perhaps you were once full of faith, but betrayal shattered your trust, and you're now rebuilding not just your belief, but a better version of it. This is what resilience looks like. Not bouncing back to who you were, but bouncing forward into who you were always meant to become. The Japanese art of kintsugi repairs broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, it highlights them, transforming the brokenness into beauty. That's what reinvention is. It's when your purpose evolves through pain, and your next version becomes more potent than the last. Here's how to build that kind of resilience and allow reinvention to fuel your purpose. 1. Acknowledge the shift without shame. Too often we cling to dead seasons out of guilt. But I spent so much time here. People expect me to continue. No, your past does not get to imprison your future. Permit yourself to pivot. Growth often requires grieving an old identity. 2. Anchor to your core, not your career. Your job title is not your purpose. Your role as a parent, pastor, CEO, or creator may shift, but your deeper identity remains. What's the essence of your purpose? Service, healing, creativity, leadership. Let the form change while the function stays true. 3. Ask, what is this season trying to teach me? Every disruption carries instruction. Lost a job? Maybe you were never meant to build someone else's dream. Facing rejection? Maybe it's a redirection to something greater. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to grow in me? 4. Rebuild daily rhythms around the new you. When your life shifts, your systems must follow. A new purpose requires new disciplines. You may need more solitude, more physical movement, a change in circle, a new morning routine. Don't cling to habits that no longer serve who you're becoming. 5. Declare, this is not the end of my story. Sometimes the greatest act of resilience is simply refusing to let the chapter you are in define the whole book. Your failure is not final. Your loss is not your label. Reinvention begins the moment you believe you are not done yet. Think of a caterpillar. It doesn't decide to become a butterfly. It simply leans into transformation. The cocoon isn't comfortable, but it's necessary. And when it breaks free, it doesn't return to crawling. Some of the most purpose-filled people you'll ever meet are those who've been forced to start over. Their dreams got delayed. Their plans got derailed. But instead of breaking, they bent. They reinvented. And they became more flexible, wise, and impactful than they ever imagined. Resilience doesn't mean you didn't cry. It means you kept moving through the tears. Reinvention doesn't mean you lost your way. It means you found a better one. So if your world feels upside down, if what used to work doesn't anymore, if you're standing in the wreckage of what you thought was the plan, take heart. This might just be your rebirth season. You're not behind. You're being reformed. And if you stay faithful in the fog, you'll look back and say, that detour was divine. It didn't destroy my purpose. It defined it. Chapter 16. Influence with integrity. Becoming a person of purpose. Others want to follow. True influence isn't loud. It's real. In a world where social media platforms reward charisma over character and popularity over principle, the temptation is strong to project a version of yourself that gets applause, even if it lacks authenticity. But purpose was never meant to be a performance. It's meant to be a presence. And the most powerful presence in any room is integrity. Influence is not just about how many people are watching you. It's about how many lives are better because of you. It's the silent ripple of your example, decisions, and values, echoing far beyond the spotlight. Let's step into the shoes of someone like Nelson Mandela. He didn't need 1 million Instagram followers to shift a nation. He didn't beg for influence. He became someone worth following. His time in prison didn't diminish his authority. It refined it. When he emerged, he carried the kind of influence that can only be forged in private places where principles are tested. That's what influence with integrity looks like. It's earned in the dark before it's revealed in the light. Now let's make this personal. You might not have a global platform. You may not speak to crowds or run a company yet. But if you carry purpose with integrity, you are an influencer. Every father who loves with consistency, every student who chooses truth over trend, and every entrepreneur who builds with honor is shaping the future. Because influence isn't position, it's permission. And people only permit you to lead them when they trust who you are. So how do you build this kind of influence? The kind that aligns with your purpose, grows your impact, and preserves your soul. Let's break it down. 1. Make peace with being unseen. Some of the most influential seasons of your life will be the least visible. That's where character is forged. Integrity is who you are when there's no reward for doing the right thing. Lean into those seasons. They prepare you for sustainable visibility. 2. Live aligned, not just admired. Ask yourself, do my private choices support my public message? If not, you're living in tension, and people can feel it. True influence comes from integration. When your words, values, and actions agree, you become magnetic. People may not even know why they trust you, but they do. 3. Serve before you shine. Purpose-driven influence starts with service. Ask, how can I add value? Not, how can I gain followers? Influence gained by impact lasts. Influence gained by image fades. Give, serve, contribute, then doors will open. 4. Lead yourself first. Before you speak into anyone's life, talk into your own. Set standards. Develop disciplines. Be accountable. If you wouldn't follow your current habits or mindset, don't expect others to. Your first audience is you. 5. Be consistent over time. Integrity is not built in moments of inspiration. It's built through years of consistency. The friend who shows up, the coworker who delivers every time, the mentor who keeps their word. That kind of influence is slow, but it's unshakable. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships, it just stands, steady, illuminated, anchored, and because of that stillness, thousands are guided safely home. That's your goal, not to impress, but to impact. There's a Hebrew word, tamim, used in the Old Testament to describe someone who walks blamelessly before God. It doesn't mean flawless, it means whole, undivided, authentic, a person of depth, not just display. That's what the world is hungry for. Not perfection, but congruence. The people you lead, your family, team, clients, audience, they don't need a superhero. They need a human being who is real, consistent, and rooted in purpose. They need someone who keeps promises, who owns mistakes, who listens deeply, who leads without ego. When you walk in that kind of integrity, your influence expands in quiet, unstoppable ways. You'll get invited into rooms you didn't ask to enter. Your name will be mentioned in places you've never stepped foot in. Why? Because character carries weight, and weight creates gravitational pull. So don't chase attention, cultivate authenticity. Don't perform your purpose, live it. Because the most influential people in the world are not the loudest. They are the most anchored. And when your life becomes a message, your impact becomes inevitable. Chapter 17. Wealth that follows worth. Building financial freedom by adding value through purpose. Let's get honest. Wealth, in and of itself, is not evil, but the way we chase it often is. Too many people run after money like a child runs after a balloon in the wind, desperate, aimless, exhausted. The tragedy is not that they never catch it. It's that even when they do, they discover it was hollow. Real wealth isn't something you chase. It's something you attract when your life begins to produce worth. Worth is the intersection of your purpose and the value you provide. When you focus on becoming someone of value, someone who solves problems, uplifts others, and builds excellence into their work, money becomes a natural byproduct. The goal isn't just to get rich. The goal is to enrich yourself, your community, your generation. Look at people like Oprah Winfrey. Her purpose has always been rooted in storytelling, healing, and empowerment. She didn't start by chasing billions. She started by showing up with excellence, authenticity, and vision. And as her worth grew, wealth followed. The world pays well for people who are living their purpose with skill and focus. But you have to think differently. You have to break free from old patterns and poverty mindsets. You have to stop waiting for someone else to pay you what you're worth and start becoming someone who delivers undeniable value. Here's how to start building wealth through your purpose. 1. Know your value, then increase it. You are already valuable because of your humanity. But in the marketplace, value comes from the problems you solve. What problems are you equipped to solve? How can you solve them better, faster, or more meaningfully than others? Take inventory, your skills, your knowledge, your story, your network. Then ask, what can I do to upgrade these? Take a course, get a mentor, practice deliberately. Growth in value leads to growth in income. 2. Focus on contribution, not compensation. When your first question is, how can I help, and not, how much will I get, you unlock trust. You sow seeds, and trust is the currency of true wealth. Be the person who adds more than expected, listens deeply, and consistently delivers. That kind of person never goes out of business. 3. Diversify your purpose into multiple streams. Your purpose is a well. It can feed more than one stream. Teachers can write books, coach clients, speak at conferences, and launch online courses. A designer can create art, build a brand, and sell digital products. Don't confine your purpose to one platform. Multiply it, scale it. Let it flow into multiple income streams that reflect your value. 4. Build assets, not just activity. Busyness is not the same as productivity, and hard work without ownership is just rented labor. Wealth comes from building assets, things that continue to work for you, even when you rest. That could be intellectual property, a business system, real estate, or investments. The goal isn't just to work for money, it's to make your money work for you. 5. Heal your relationship with money. Some people secretly believe they don't deserve wealth. Others think wanting wealth makes them worldly. Both are lies. Money is a tool. In the hands of a purpose-filled person, it becomes a weapon of transformation. Feed families, fund missions, launch initiatives, create opportunities. When your heart is aligned, money becomes fuel for your impact. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Daniel who spent years working in nonprofit education. He loved the mission, but struggled financially. One day, a mentor asked him, "What if you built a business that supported your mission instead of competing with it?" That conversation changed everything. Daniel started a small publishing company that created educational tools for kids. He used his insight as an educator to fill a market gap. The business grew, and now he funds scholarships, mentors, entrepreneurs, and lives debt-free. He didn't abandon his purpose to create wealth. He amplified it. That's your call too. Purpose is not the opposite of profit. When aligned, they multiply one another. So shift your mindset. You're not here to beg for opportunities. You're here to create them. You're not here to survive. You're here to multiply. And you're not here just to accumulate. You're here to distribute. Wealth, when rooted in purpose, becomes a river, not a dam. It flows through you to others. It lifts, empowers, and liberates. It becomes more than currency. It becomes legacy. And in that flow, you'll discover what many miss. That real prosperity is not just what's in your account. It's what's in your assignment. Chapter 18. Legacy Living. How to make sure your purpose outlives you. One day, your name will be spoken for the last time on earth. Sobering, isn't it? However, legacy is not about avoiding that moment. It's about preparing for it so that when your voice fades, your values still speak. So that when your hands are still, your fingerprints remain on lives, systems, institutions, and hearts. Living with legacy in mind isn't morbid. It's motivating. It means you stop measuring success by what you can consume and start measuring it by what you can contribute. It means asking not just, what am I building, but what will endure when I'm gone? The truth is, every purposeful life eventually matures into a question of succession. Will your impact end with you or extend beyond you? Think of someone like Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't die with a bank account full of millions, but his words, sacrifice, and vision planted seeds that are still blooming decades later. His legacy wasn't just in his speeches. It was in the courage he instilled in ordinary people, sparking extraordinary movements. That's the power of purpose aimed at eternity. You don't need to be famous to live a legacy. You need to be faithful. You need to see your life as a tree, not a tent. Tents provide temporary shelter. Trees create ecosystems, and the greatest trees don't just grow high. They grow deep. They last. So how do you live like that? How do you ensure that your purpose isn't a moment, but a movement? 1. Think in decades, not just days. Legacy requires a long view. It's not about quick wins, it's about deep roots. Ask yourself, what am I doing today that will still matter in 10 years? In 50? That mindset shifts how you treat people, build systems, and spend your time. Start journaling your thoughts, lessons, and stories. Build a library of wisdom that your children, mentees, or community can draw from. 2. Invest in people, not just projects. Projects can be impressive, but people are eternal. Pour your best energy into relationships. Mentor someone, love deeply, teach generously. Every time you transfer wisdom, courage, or faith to another, you duplicate your influence. Remember, success without succession is still failure. 3. Codify your life's message. What do you stand for? What truths would you die defending? What stories do you keep telling? Document your life's principles. Write them, record them, live them. This becomes your code, a blueprint others can follow long after you are gone. Your life becomes a map for someone else's mountain. 4. Give while you live. Don't wait until death to become generous. Legacy is not about the inheritance you leave. It's about the impact you make while you're still breathing. Fund a dream. Sponsor education. Volunteer. Speak up. Start something that outgrows you. The world is not changed by wishes. It's changed by wills, as in people who will to make a difference. 5. Raise others to run further than you. Perhaps the greatest legacy is when the people you mentored exceed you. That's not failure, that's fruitfulness. Don't just hoard your platform, hand it off. Don't just share your stage, create new ones for others. Jesus didn't just minister, he multiplied. He told his disciples, "Greater works than these will you do." That's legacy. Let's bring it home with a story. A woman named Clara ran a community center for youth in her city for over 30 years. She was never on the news, never awarded by the mayor, but she kept showing up, tutoring, feeding, counseling. Years later at her funeral, hundreds attended. Doctors, teachers, artists, and entrepreneurs, all of whom had once been troubled teens under her care. Each had a story of how Clara spoke life into them when no one else would. Clara didn't go viral. She went vertical, planting deep seeds into real lives, and those seeds are still growing. That's legacy, not popularity, perpetuity. Not making waves for a moment, but digging wells that never run dry. So here's the question that changes everything. If someone followed you silently for the next 30 days, what would they inherit from your habits, your words, your investments, your attitude? Would they catch your fire or your fear? Would they walk away stronger or more confused? Would they see a person of purpose or just a person in motion? Legacy isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It starts now, with today's choices, with today's voice, with today's vision. Because one day, your name will be spoken for the last time. But if you live well now, what you stood for will never be forgotten. Chapter 19. Alignment over achievement. Why who you are matters more than what you do. In a culture obsessed with winning, climbing, and performing, achievement becomes the idol. We celebrate results, accolades, numbers, and milestones. But somewhere in the frenzy, we forget to ask a sobering question. At what cost? What's the cost of building a brand but losing your boundaries? Of making millions but sacrificing meaning? Of impressing the world while disappointing yourself? Here's the truth no one tells you at the beginning. Achievement without alignment eventually becomes emptiness. You can build the tallest tower, but if it's crooked at the foundation, it will crumble under pressure. In the same way, a life that looks impressive on the outside but is out of sync on the inside will eventually collapse. Alignment means that your values, decisions, emotions, habits, and relationships are congruent. There's no split between the you people see and the you that speaks when no one's listening. It's not perfection, it's integrity, wholeness, a life lived from the inside out. And alignment is not a luxury, it's a requirement for lasting success. Because misalignment has symptoms. You feel scattered. You say yes when you mean no. You show up exhausted instead of excited. You achieve more but enjoy it less. You begin to feel like a stranger to yourself. And the world tells you to push harder. But your soul whispers, come back into alignment. So how do we get there? 1. Know your true north. Before you pursue any goal, clarify your core values. What do you stand for? What do you refuse to compromise? Write your personal constitution, 5 to 10 guiding truths that will govern how you live, lead, and love. These become your compass in the fog of ambition. 2. Audit your environment. You cannot stay aligned in a space that constantly pulls you out of it. Are the people around you fueling your growth or feeding your fear? Are your rhythms and responsibilities designed for your actual priorities? Prune what distracts. Prioritize what develops. 3. Be honest with your emotions. Don't fake it to make it. Feel it to heal it. Your emotions are messengers. Resentment may signal boundary violations. Anxiety might reflect misaligned priorities. Use them as checkpoints, not enemies. Ask, what's this feeling trying to teach me about what I need to realign? 4. Live a life you don't have to escape from. So many chase achievements just to earn the right to rest. Once I finish this launch, once I hit that number, then I'll breathe. But what if you built a life that was peaceful in process, not just product? Build rest into your rhythm, celebrate in the journey, protect your peace as much as your progress. 5th, let go of approval addiction. One of the greatest sources of misalignment is the fear of disappointing others. But every yes to them, that's a no to your values, weakens your core. Decide today, you will not betray your purpose for applause. The greatest alignment happens when what you say, what you believe, and how you act all walk in the same direction. Let me give you an image. Imagine a tuning fork. When struck, it vibrates at a precise frequency. If another instrument is in tune, it will begin to resonate in harmony with that fork, without being touched. That's what alignment feels like. When you strike the chord of your truth, the right people, right doors, and right rhythm begin to resonate around you. You no longer chase opportunity. You attract it, because aligned people carry clarity. They walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere. They lead without striving. They speak without posturing. Their inner lives are so integrated that they become unshakable, even in crisis. That's the kind of life you were meant to live. So don't measure your success only by your outcomes. Measure it by your alignment. If your soul is at peace, your relationships are thriving, your values are intact, and your purpose is your compass, you are already wealthy in ways that matter most. Because in the end, achievement will come and go. But alignment builds eternity into everything you do. Chapter 20. The call continues. Purpose is not a destination, but a way of life. Many people treat purpose like a mountain peak, something you climb, conquer, and then check off your life's list. But that's a misunderstanding. Purpose is not a single moment. It's not the perfect job title or the applause of a crowd or even the completion of a dream. Purpose is a call, and the call continues. You don't arrive at purpose. You abide in it. You walk with it. You grow deeper in it. It evolves as you evolve, expands as you expand, and adjusts as new seasons open before you. Think of purpose as a melody. Early in life, you hear a faint whisper of it, maybe in a childhood moment when you felt unusually alive, or a teenage daydream that lit your spirit. Then, through the years, you pick up the rhythm. You start to hum the tune. Eventually, if you listen carefully and walk courageously, you begin to sing it with your life. But the song never ends. Even when one verse concludes, say, a job ends, a chapter closes, a dream shifts, the melody of purpose keeps playing. That's why those who live most fully never retire from purpose. They may retire from roles, from titles, from routines, but never from meaning. Purpose is not bound by age. It's not owned by your career. It's carried in your spirit. You are not here to finish fast. You're here to finish faithfully. And faithfulness isn't just about effort. It's about awareness. It's about waking up each morning and saying, what is my assignment for today? Who can I serve? What can I steward? How can I show up in alignment? The danger of arriving at a false summit is complacency. You start to think, I've done enough. But purpose doesn't let you settle. It keeps whispering, there's more to give, more to learn, more to become. Look at Abraham in the Bible. His journey didn't stop when he arrived in the land God promised. It was a lifelong unfolding, sometimes uncomfortable, always sacred. Even in old age, he was still listening, obeying, and building altars. You don't graduate from purpose. You grow in it, and purpose will sometimes interrupt you. Just when you think you've figured it out, life may shift. The job may change. The role may vanish. But if your identity is rooted in your calling, and not just your position, you won't be shaken. You'll adapt. You'll listen again. You'll say, speak, Lord. Your servant is still listening. So the real invitation of this chapter is this. Don't cling to a version of your calling that no longer fits your current capacity. Don't fossilize around a form. Stay fluid. Stay open. Stay faithful. Because purpose is not static. It's a stream, and you are meant to flow in it, not freeze in it. Here's a truth that liberates. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to stay willing to grow, willing to serve, willing to obey the next nudge from God, even if it's small. That is what separates the person who starts with purpose from the one who finishes in it. They kept walking. They kept listening. They kept saying yes. Let me tell you a quick story. James was a high-performing executive who had achieved everything the world said mattered. A corner office, impressive title, financial freedom. But he felt restless. Something was off. One day, while mentoring a young intern, he had an epiphany. This moment of pouring into someone, that's what I was made for. He didn't quit his job. He just reoriented his lens. From then on, he saw his daily work as a platform for mentorship, leadership, and impact. Purpose didn't change. He did. And the call, it kept calling. It will call you too, in whispers, in burdens, in dreams, in doors that close and others that open. Don't silence it with success. Don't outrun it with busyness. Let it lead you deeper. The call continues, not because you're lacking, but because you're becoming. And becoming is the real destination. Chapter 21. The Purpose Effect. How one life can ignite a movement. The universe changes one fully awakened person at a time. This is the truth behind every revival, every revolution, every reformation. It didn't start with a crowd. It started with a calling, answered by one soul who decided to live with purpose. That's the purpose effect. It's the ripple that begins when someone stops drifting and starts living with divine intent, when someone stops asking, what can I get, and starts asking, what was I born to give? It's what happens when your life becomes a match and your courage sets dry places on fire. You see, purpose isn't just about you. It begins with you, but it doesn't end with you. Your alignment creates change in others. Your decisions spark destinies. Your example awakens something dormant in the people watching you from a distance. Co-workers, friends, your children, strangers you'll never meet. You become the evidence that meaning is possible. That's what we've been building toward with every chapter in this book. Not just success, but significance. Not just goals, but generational greatness. Not just hustle, but holiness. A life set apart, directed by heaven's vision. Imagine a pond, still and quiet. You drop a single stone into it. The ripples spread out, touching every edge, moving unseen things beneath the surface, affecting everything. You are that stone. Your purpose is that impact. You were never just meant to make noise. You were meant to make waves. And the purpose effect is exponential. It's not additive, it's multiplicative. Purpose doesn't just grow you, it duplicates you. As you pour out, others are inspired. As you walk in clarity, others catch courage. As you live with meaning, others believe it's possible for them too. Movements don't begin with platforms. They begin with people. And if you steward your life well, your story becomes someone else's roadmap. This is why all the earlier chapters mattered. You had to discover your identity, clarify your vision, face your fears, change your habits, build your wealth with wisdom, leave a legacy, stay in alignment, answer the ongoing call, so that when the moment comes, and it will, you're not just ready to succeed, you're ready to multiply. Think of a fire. A single flame can light 1,000 candles and never diminish. That's your purpose. The more you give it away, the more it grows. This is the purpose effect. Let me show you what it looks like in real life. A woman named Malia started a small tutoring center in her community. It wasn't flashy. No marketing team, no social media buzz, just a passion to help struggling kids read and dream again. 10 years later, students she once helped are now helping others. A boy she mentored became a teacher. Another started a nonprofit. A parent she encouraged now runs for city council. It all traces back to a woman who said yes to a burden, yes to a calling, yes to a purpose. Malia didn't just tutor kids, she ignited futures. That's the purpose effect. And now the question is yours. What ripple will your life create? Don't underestimate the impact of a single life aligned with heaven's design. Don't delay your contribution because of fear, confusion, or comparison. And don't wait for perfect conditions. Purpose moves in obedient action, not ideal timing. You've been equipped. You've been awakened. You've been invited into the greatest adventure a human soul can know. A life that matters. A life that multiplies. A life that outlives itself. That's the purpose effect. Now go, live it, and let the ripple begin.